Hi, and welcome to the Heal from Within series, where we're talking about healing our bodies, healing our lives, and healing all naturally, raising our frequencies so we can live our best, healthiest lives. I'm Jody Jeline, your host. Today, I have Shanine Quinn on, and Shanine is a holistic psychotherapist and spiritual development mentor. She supports clients in releasing the energetic residue of past wounds, unraveling inherited patterns, and returning to the original truth of who they are beneath conditioning. Welcome.
Hi there, Jodie. It's so lovely to be here with you.
Yes, this is going to be a great conversation.
Yeah.
We had a little conversation before we started. Man, we could go deep with all this stuff. So we could talk for hours, but we won't keep you that long. Um, so first, tell us, Shanine, what your journey was to get to where you are now.
Oh, my journey was quite windy, to be honest with you. Um, I wasn't born spiritually aware in any way. In fact, I was brought up in a cult where you were not allowed to do meditation, no yoga, nothing. And I didn't even know I had a soul, Jodie. It just wasn't part of the cult's teachings at all. Um, so for me, anything that wasn't perceived by the physical five senses, we were taught was evil, basically. So that was very much my journey, which
Mm,
was very tricky for a sensitive child who was naturally empathic. Like I would be able to walk into a room and know how someone was feeling without even, you know, having them said a word. And I was taught that that was evil. So I had to really
mm,
repress. I had to really repress
wow.
who I was. So you would find me in a corner with a book most of my childhood, to be honest with you. Not when that's when I wasn't out talking about the end of the world. Like we were brought up to believe we weren't even going to get any older. That's how crazy the cult was. It was like the end of the world was coming. We were part of the chosen ones and anyone else who wasn't. So it was all about saving the world. So that's kind of the highlights. That was me,
Mm,
how I started. I left that. I married an unbeliever, which wasn't a popular choice. And I left that when I was 26, Jodie. And what happened was I suddenly lost my voice, just couldn't express myself. And, you
mm.
know, I could talk for Scotland. So that was really challenging for me, really challenging. But what it did, it took me within for the first time ever. I had to go within and I actually learned the deep belly breath that later on I would learn during my yoga teaching. And within that space, I made a decision that I couldn't continue to be in that space anymore. I didn't resonate with the teachings. It was repressing so much of who I was naturally. And I was terrified every single day from the age of 17 to 26. I thought about death every single day
Mm,
because it was all about the end of the world. So I left when I was
yeah.
26, had a wee bit of fun, which was really good. Had my children, and then just at my 40th birthday, for my 40th birthday, I was gifted with the most incredible spiritual awakening experience.
Mm,
And that changed my view of the world forever. Like, I remember when I first had that experience, like, just being so awestruck. And I was sitting in my car one day still integrating all these incredible, wonderful experiences. And you can read about it more on my website. And I've got a YouTube channel that I go into in much more detail. But I remember looking at this wee woman, and she was taking her trolley up, just going to the supermarket, and I wanted to run out and shake her by the shoulders and be like, do you
Uh,
know who you really
yeah.
are? Like, do you know you're just like a being of light? Which thankfully I had really good mentors at the time, and they were like, that's not the way to go. You don't wake a sleeping giant. But yeah, so that changed my view of the world. It changed my view of myself. I trained, I integrated, I trained as a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher, healing facilitator, further on down the line, cognitive behavioral therapy, hypnotherapy, because once I knew who I was and once I had started my yoga training, I remember starting my yoga training for me to get answers for me. I was 1 year into it and I was like, I cannot keep this to myself. And that started my journey. So,
Yeah.
yoga, meditation, then healing, and then the the psychotherapy side. So, yeah, quite a journey. And
Yeah.
that's the highlights.
Yeah. And it's the spiritual journey, like, or when you have a spiritual awakening, you can't really explain it to people. You know what I mean? I mean, we can tell them things, but it's like you just know you did also. Because
Right.
yeah, and I had somebody ask me once because I've had a spiritual awakening, and and they were like, "Well, how do you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It just happens when you're ready, I guess." And you just know you had one, if that makes sense, right?
Mine was definitely a lot more visceral than that. Mine's definitely wasn't subtle. And I think mine came in such a profound way because of my upbringing. It would have taken something for my belief system to go
Mm-hmm.
like that to get me on this path. So I was lying, sleeping one day, and I had been meditating, but I hadn't been meditating for very long, Jodie, and I'd started to feel like a wee breeze on the side of my face. Um, and just to cut to the main event, one day I was sleeping, I'd been meditating for about a month. I was sleeping and I woke up from a sleep. You know that way where you just come into and the temperature in the room dropped,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw a mass of white light in my space, and that was the start of it. And it was
Yeah.
just, yeah, you're right, words don't do it justice. Like,
No.
the vibration of it was what I felt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine opened me up to I see energy, I see colors, like lots of things changed in that way too. So it is
Yeah,
it's a big thing.
it is
But
a
okay,
big
so
thing. It's a
let's
huge
t
thing.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk about inner child healing and why it's so important for the path to self-love.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a path that I took myself quite recently. You know that way where, and we talked about this before we came on, you do so much inner healing. You do so much um, looking within when you're on this path. And inner child healing is something that I stayed away from. I chose a modality where it was, you don't need to go to the past. You look at where you are now and what lingers from that, and that really suited me at the time. And then life just conspired to take me on this journey where I had to completely go within. Now, when we talk about self-love, sometimes it's put forward in a way that can be quite superficial, like the selfies and, like the bubble baths and all the rest of it. And really, what I discovered and the work that I do with my clients now, it's genuinely the bedrock of self love. It's genuinely the true path to loving all those fragmented, forgotten parts, the parts we don't even want to visit, the parts that we kind of shut away for our own safety, and the
Hmm.
parts that are still there. They're still there, and they manifest in so many different ways. And that what was happening for me. And I was like, right, I need to, at the time, I thought I just needed to kind of like sweep away the remnants of the healing that I'd already done. I had no concept of the depth that I would go to, which is what we have to do as healing facilitators. We have to go to the depths so that we can go to those depths with our clients. So we get to go to the highs with the spiritual awakens and the astral travel and all the
Yep.
rest of it and the light in the room. And then you get to go to the murky depths and the shadow. But honestly, shining the light on that and loving those parts back home, that is the wholeness. That is what brings you to wholeness. And that is the true path to self love and healing. Because we know that when we're emotionally stuck, when we've got emotional blocks and parts that we haven't looked at, that's going to manifest in our body. That's going to manifest in our health, in our relationships, in our working life, everywhere it ripples
Yeah.
out. So when you bring that back to the bedrock, to the core, and then you shine the light and do it with so much love and compassion, what starts to happen is you heal those parts. You heal the parts that you've forgotten about and the behaviors that were derived from those unhealed parts. They start to naturally morph and change. So the people pleasing stops. Like all
Yep.
like
Been there.
sometimes like completely viscerally to
Yeah.
the point where you like go, right, I'm not helping anybody ever again. Do you know what I mean? To like, and then it kind of like balances
Balances
out.
out. Yep.
So it's just, yeah, like it's a journey. And I would say it's the bedrock of self-love.
Yeah. So why is self-love so foreign to people?
In my experience in working with people and just the background that I had, we are not taught that love is unconditional. We are taught to, and that still gets me emotional. You know, that still gets me there. That still gets me emotional. We are taught that love is earned, particularly for my experience and for people who are from like a very, very religious background. It's like
Hmm.
you're never good enough. You're always having to improve. Like within our cult, the whole thing was you were always putting on the new personality. It wasn't until I got older that I was like, do you know what? I actually really quite like my personality as it is, but we're not taught that we are incredibly, incredibly important. We matter. We are divine beings in physical bodies. We are taught that that divinity, that light, is only for chosen ones. Like I was thinking about this before we came on, and I was reminded of a scripture in the Bible, and it talks about where there was a group of people in a room. I think it was at a festival, if my biblical memory serves me right. It was in Pentecost anyway, and it was like the Holy Spirit was gifted to certain individuals. So the whole way that we are conditioned, the whole way, the path of how we are brought up is you have to be better. You're never taught that love's unconditional. And yet think about it, Jodie, as babies, when we come in, we just demand. We're born knowing our worth. It's conditioned out of us.
That's true. It's like you cry to get what you need.
Yeah, you,
Yeah,
you
it's
put a baby
conditioned out of
down.
us
Yeah, and they'll
big
like put their
time.
arms out, expecting to be
Yeah.
lifted, screaming in the middle of the night, being sick all over your shoulder with no care that you've got your best shirt on. Do you know it's that sadly is really conditioned out of us. So I would say that your peers, your teachers, our caregivers, they never had the tools. They were
No.
never told they were important. They were never told that they
Yeah.
mattered in any way. So when you take that back generationally, it's no wonder that you get people like us that are on the path, and the clients that I meet that have decided to come and do something about their lives and do something about the patterns that are coming up. And then the gorgeous thing is, the ones that do the healing, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this, the ones that do the healing, we get to be the ones that stop that generational wounding. We get to be the
Yeah.
generational curse breakers, for want of a better word. So it's so important. And I would say
Yes.
that's why it's very alien for people.
Yeah. And so what changes when you start to love yourself? I know you said people pleasing stops, which I've experienced when I've done
Yeah,
that.
so much changes. Like really how you speak to yourself. And that
Yes.
might sound quite basic, but that is so
Oh,
not
it's
basic.
huge.
Like
Yeah.
the way we talk to ourselves, our words have energy. We are
Hmm.
literally coding and programming our field with our words. So treating yourself with love and compassion and kindness, that that changes the world, because when we're treating ourselves with love, compassion, and kindness rather than, oh my God, you idiot, why did you do that? Da, 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 da. You know, it's like, wait a wee minute here. Let's give yourselves love and compassion and just take a beat and ask, what's the kindest thing I can do for myself right now? That has a ripple effect. That affects the person you meet that day. That affects
Hmm.
the person that you're working with that day. Certainly affects the clients that you're working with. You know, we are energetic beings. And when we love ourselves and when we pour love into ourselves, that has such a gorgeous ripple effect in the field. And yeah, the people pleasing stops, the workaholic, the just feeling not good enough, that you make different choices. The choices that you make from the unhealed state are vastly different from the choices you make from the, and I'm not going to say healed because I feel like it is always a continuous journey. I really do. But from that healing state, the choices that you make in your life are so different from the ones you made from when you were wounded. And that changes your world. It changes, as I say, it has a ripple effect and it makes you happier and it puts you
Yes.
in touch with who you truly are and what you really want. And it gives you your voice back. You get the confidence, Jodie, to express yourself authentically and ask for what you want, because you learn as you love yourself that what you want actually really matters. What's important to you really matters. And for me, that was definitely an alien concept. That really took time to integrate. That really took time to put into practice. And even it'll still catch me out now. I'll be like, know what you like and what you want and what you really need. It matters. So it's an ongoing journey and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful journey.
Yes. So how do you start loving yourself? Where do you even begin?
I really thought about this over the years. I've really thought about this. I coined this phrase, you just love yourself better. And that is with intention, acting with intention, and knowing that you matter. So just starting with like really simple things like what I've just said to you, asking yourself if you're having a bad day, rather than berate yourself into the ground, like place your hands in your heart and just close your eyes and just ask, what do I really need just now? what is the kindest thing I can do for myself just now? And obviously, that's just the beginning. Like, if you really want to dive deep into it, there's so many resources. I've actually got a resource that I can share with your audience today that I channeled. It's a gorgeous journey with your inner child. And I would say go gently, have the tissues to hand, have your journal to hand, but the start of it is go gently with love, compassion, and with intention. And obviously, if you need support, reach out to myself or someone like you or all the amazing women on this seminar. Be gentle and be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
It's a continuous journey, but it
Yeah. It,
starts with one step, doesn't it?
yeah. And you can get to the point where you're not ripping on yourself. Like I don't do that anymore at all. So
Yeah.
you can get there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and isn't that a gorgeous place when you get there with awareness? Like
Hmm.
today, okay, so we're in the 11:11 portal just now. The energies are extremely intense, and if you're sensitive, you're going to feel that. Like 1 minute you've got so much energy, you've got enough energy for 2 days. I just talked about this in my newsletter actually. The next day, like I find myself scrolling on Instagram for puppy surprise compilations just so that I could get all the emotions out. And
Mm.
getting ready for this today, there was so many things I had planned. I was going to do content for my YouTube channel. I was going to just keep going. And Jodie, I just didn't have the energy. And so I made the choice not to berate and go, oh, this should be done. No, not at all. There was so much love and compassion poured in today. It was like, no, if you need to go for a walk, you go for a walk. You need to just cuddle up for a wee bit, you do that. It changes the game. And you're absolutely right. You get to the point where you do that with awareness.
Yes.
And yeah, I wouldn't, looking back, I'm miles away from where I was before in
Me
such
too.
a good way. Yeah, there's no
It's so
berate at
nice,
all.
isn't it? Because
Oh, it is a game changer.
and if you're listening, you can get there too. I mean, you do the
Oh,
work, right? Then it changes. You shift internally. The love, self-love you're talking about and the happiness and you
it's it's
shift.
an it's a natural evolving once that work starts.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that it's who we are, Jodie. That's the thing, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's happiness and peace and contentment and joy. That's our natural nature. Everything else has come in, piled in, dimmed our light from the conditioning that we've had. And
Yep.
really lovely, when you do that work, it's just like chipping away the layers. I always say this to my clients actually. It's when Michelangelo created David,
Hmm.
he's famous for this, and I love this. He's like, I didn't create David, I just chipped away what wasn't David. And that, for me,
Such a good, yeah.
just epitomizes the healing journey and the journey of self love. You just chip away everything, the stuff your teacher said, your caregivers, because they did it with love and compassion, everything, the illusion, and then what's left is your true essence.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. And it's like you just know, like, I mean, I can say choose you, but you will do stuff that's in alignment for you. Not
And
You won't do things that aren't in alignment because that's what drags you down and it's a denser energy. And when you do things that are in alignment, that's also self-love.
completely. And the thing
Yeah.
is, when you do go on that healing journey and you go on that path, you become so much more attuned with what's in alignment for you. It gets to the point where you have such a deep inner conversation with yourself and you feel it energetically that when something's out of alignment, it's almost like you can't be in some spaces, you can't be with some people, you can't be taking in different kinds of media. It's like it's just not in alignment, and that sensitivity is like your antennae tuning your
Yeah.
true self, tuning you to what will make you happy. It's such a beautiful, complex journey, and it deepens the more you do it. It really does. It truly deepens the more you go within.
Yeah. And that self-love, it shifts your, like you were saying, shifts your world, your relationships. You can attract what you want, not the relationship you don't want. I've experienced that. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
it starts with that first.
completely. Because then,
Yeah.
like, if you think about it, like, for myself, it was the inner child healing journey really was about the abandonment wound. And up until that point, I was just attracting people that just weren't in alignment with where I wanted to be. And I just couldn't understand what was happening. And
Yeah.
here's the image that came to me, and this might resonate with our listeners. When you are consciously saying you want something and you're like, I want to attract this, want to attract this, and you think you're moving in that direction, okay? Well, I was deep in this. I'm extremely visual, and I got this really powerful visual. And it was like, so you know a guy that like drives the sled for the Huskies?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, so that like has got like he's driving the sled and he's directing the Huskies with the leads and all the rest of it. And I just saw Jodie, right? This guy with a sled driving it in this way and the Huskies just going in the opposite direction, you know? And that to me was like my conscious mind and my conscious intentions and my
Yeah, I love that.
subconscious going, absolutely not. We're not going
You're
to. I was
going the
like,
wrong way.
you're going in circles because yes, something doesn't feel safe. Something hasn't been looked at. If you're going to just ignore me, if you're like the inner child, like the inner part of you, you're going to just ignore that. Well, I'm just going to bolt in the other direction so you can go forward all you want. So you'll find yourself like stop going
Yeah.
in circles, stop attracting what's not in alignment for you. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah. You're so
Well,
welcome.
actually, so the abandonment wound, just to touch on that, like that's a big thing because so many people, that's inner child stuff, if you didn't hear I
That's
love you or you were neglected or abused, or that is a big wound that affects you more than you realize if you haven't healed
absolutely.
it.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be as big as that. It really doesn't. It doesn't have, I mean, obviously, abuse and like abandonment, but like we can be emotionally abandoned and just not have our needs met. You
Yeah.
know, people will say, oh no, I don't have an abandonment. Like I had really, like my parents were present or, you know, nothing bad happened. But when you go into the nuances of it,
Yeah.
I actually haven't met anyone in my practice that doesn't have some kind of inner child healing work to do because
Yeah.
we were brought up with caregivers who didn't have the tools. And that is where the ripple effect comes in. Not their
Yeah.
fault. They were doing their best. And
Yeah.
believe me, that takes loving compassion to get to
Mm,
that point. And that isn't an
yes.
easy point. You know, that journey isn't, we're
Forgiveness.
not saying here, please believe me, I'm not saying, oh, you can get there and it's really easy. No, it takes work, but
Yep.
it's so worth it when you do.
It
It's
is.
so worth it.
It is so worth it. Your whole life changes. Why wouldn't you? This is your life, for goodness sakes.
Yeah,
Like take it
exactly.
on. Yeah, that's what we're here
Yeah,
for.
yeah. So if
Yes,
something's
you
not
can
working
heal.
in your life and you keep repeating the
Yeah.
same patterns, maybe have a wee look, time to have a wee look deeper
Yeah.
within. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shanine.
Oh,
This
you're
is
so
wonderful.
welcome. Yeah, you're so welcome. And yeah, there's a free resource, so just pop
Oh,
a link
yes.
down below so that for the inner child, it's a beautiful meditation, and I've put theta frequencies in the back of it. So what that'll do is take you deeper into a state where you can access that part of yourself quicker. It's a really gorgeous resource. It's free.
Awesome. And that link for her gift is right below where you clicked on this video. You'll just
Yeah.
click on that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
This has
Thank
been gorgeous.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.